No, she's not making fun of Christians and she's not blaspheming God. She's singing about the religious trauma that a lot of successful and talented women deal with in evangelical culture. Women with strong personalities often try to minimize themselves to fit in an evangelical box. What they find out is no matter what they do, no matter how they shrink or diminish or alter themselves, it's not good enough. And look, I'm not trying to mess with your self-expression. I've just learned a lesson that speaking about abusive treatment that you've suffered at the hands of evangelicals is a lot different than making fun of Christians or blaspheming God. We are conditioned to attack people who speak up about abuses and hypocrisies in the church. Even if she rolls the stone away, you're going to crucify her anyway. So she's just going to do her because stressing and obsessing over somebody else.
Okay, so first of all, have you heard her album?
I have not.
So there's we were trying to go through the lyrics on our call, and there were certain references to God, and how do you describe what she said? It wasn't super, super obvious that it was a bad.
It was weird. It was kind of like how normally when I saw, to get the point of reference, I saw a documentary on Netflix, and she was like, I seen the whole thing, and this was the time when she was going back and forth with Kanye and Kim and all this other stuff. But she had a thing where she wanted to get somebody elected in Tennessee who was I think Democrat, I think something like that. But she was like, I'm a Christian, but this evangelical stuff is a mess. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that's where she was coming from, that point of view of, the church, the evangelical church, and the hypocrisy in that and all this other stuff. So, but yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like when you got a large platform like that and you put those kind of comments out there, I think as an artist, what you're trying to do, you're trying to connect with people. So she's trying to reach out to people who may feel that same kind of way or felt that same kind of rejection. And true, the church hasn't always done things correctly. And the thing the lady said just now, I think it was a valid statement to a certain degree, but I think the context of it was different. I think when people really like an artist or really like somebody, they'll try to slant and bend things to defend them at all times. Mm-hmm. And what we're dealing with is somebody who's, a lot of people say they're Christian, but if you see the stuff she does on stage, like the witchcraft and all this kind of crazy stuff, it's like, just because she says she's a Christian don't mean she's valid. And I'm not here to judge anybody, to call anybody's salvation real or not. I'm just going off what I see. And so if somebody really likes the music, we can come out and say Beyonce is doing all this African worship and all this stuff, and they're Christians who are going to come out and defend what she's doing and what she's saying. So when I look at this, that's all I see, somebody who's a fan of the music trying to justify some stuff that's being said that's probably not valid or probably not true. But you like her a lot, so you're going to defend it.
Yeah. So here's some lyrics CR just handed me. This is it's from But Daddy, I Love Him. Is that the song? I'll tell you something right now. I'd rather burn my whole life down than listen to one more second of all this griping and moaning. I'll tell you something about my good name. It's mine alone to disgrace. I don't cater to all these vipers dressed as empaths clothing. God save the most judgmental creeps who say they want what's best for me. Sanctimoniously performing soliloquies I'll never see. Thinking it can change the beat of my heart where he touches me and counteract the chemistry and undo the destiny. You ain't got to pray for me. Me and my wild boy and all this wild joy. If all you want is great for me, then it's just white noise and it's just my choice. So I think we were interpreting that to mean maybe sounds just on the paper. There's some person she likes and the church was judging her for it, and then she's like, screw y'all. Mm-hmm. Is that what you hear?
She's very poetic. So I don't know exactly what she meant, right? I think a lot of it is kind of we're speculating what she meant, right? And we only know so much really of artists' personal and real lives. What I will say is church hurt is real.
Yeah.
I have not listened to the album to really share an educated opinion on this. Mm-hmm. And so I think that kind of like what you were saying, a lot of people will, try to defend and really kind of, defend people that you may not know.
Yeah.
But, church hurt is real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
it's valid.
Or it could be a thing where she's talking about because she's very poetic, like you said. It could be a double meaning where we thinking is a man, but it could be about success. It could be about fame. It could be about the world. Like, like the church telling you, don't go to the world. And then she's like, I went to the world and it's good. Y'all being religious, you know what I mean? So it could be on something like that.
Sometimes, too, people can be angry with God because he uses methods or things that we don't quite understand. And you can feel like you're being controlled or manipulated or something by something that the word tells us to live by, something God tells us to do. And when you leave outside of that and you go into the world saying now you're the biggest artist in the world, you'll feel like, man, they told me to listen to this, but look, I rebelled against that and look what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And they don't understand just because you achieved this worldly success doesn't mean that you're in a great spot. You know what I'm saying?
And at times that's what people think, you know what I mean? Like just going from, a safe box environment like she came out of, country music and, her just being like America's sweetheart to like, now when you listen to the album, like I'll skim through some of the project, like listening to some stuff, and she cursing now, and it's like,
oh jeez, I didn't know that.
Like I'm like, where is this coming from? Because like, she had other songs when she said some stuff, but like majority of the album, like
I was shocked, man. I had never heard an album from her ever.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing all this hype about this joint breaking records and stuff. I'm like, from what I knew of Taylor Swift, it was just like kind of like this innocent kind of outward appearance, right? And I turned this on and it like I said on the call, I was like, it sounded like CCM.
Okay.
The style sounds like CCM. And I'm like, first of all, I'm like, how is this working? And then all of a sudden, she's just dropping F-bombs like crazy. I'm like, yo, I didn't know she was cussing like this.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
So it was a weird mix of, it sounded like a child's album and with hardcore language on top of it.
Kids bop with cussing?
Not necessarily bop, but it sounded like a teenager's perspective.
Okay.
But then just like hardcore stuff on top of it. So I don't know her history. Do you guys know if she's been like that?
No, but I think for me, I've seen stuff like on her previous album, some of the previous albums that I've seen, that she had some songs, not like all the songs, but like maybe one or two songs with explicit content. But it wasn't like, and I was telling you before, I was like, the other stuff sounded more pop. This sounded like you said, like more like a CCM kind of vibe. And it's weird. I get what you're saying, but her stuff normally is like pop country type.
That's
vibe.
what I was expecting.
Yeah,
and I didn't get that. So maybe she's going for something different. But I just remember when Beyonce went through that transition as well, where it was just starting to be like real hardcore, like language on top of her songs. I'm like, I wonder if she's going through that same transition. Like, I'm tired of being like this innocent,
that rebellious stage almost.
That's
like,
what it felt like to me.
But here's the thing about it: if you can do that, but at the same time, your core fan base are looking like you are America's sweetheart. You get what I'm saying? And I think sometimes people,
kids to the concert,
so now it's like you can't make that hard shift like that where people are like, man, what is going on with her? Like, why is she cursing and all this stuff? Like, she wasn't, like, she may have said stuff here and there, but it wasn't like this. Like, what's going on? And I think that's sometimes when artists think they can make that shift without thinking about their core fan base.
I don't think anybody else cares, honestly. It's just me.
I think it's a tone of rebellion, just going through everybody. We talked about Rihanna last week. She had the whole nun outfit on. Kanye talking about God. She mad. Now Taylor Swift talking about the church. And Beyonce saying stuff. It's like it's a whole tone of just rebellion.
Yeah.
And the church and Christianity is just the target of their rebellion. So,
Which and then also talking about rebellion is witchcraft.
Yeah.
In essence.
Hey, what's going on? I hope you liked that video. Make sure you like and subscribe. And make sure you support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Trackstarz Universe. In the meantime, continue to watch our channel by clicking on this next video right now.